Darn it, Brody, are you back again to talk about magic cards? Why, yes, I am back to talk about magic cards. Why not? I like magic cards. You do? Haha, good morning, everybody. It's that time again. It's Monday, May 29th, 2023. As usual, thanks for joining me, Carcinogen. Good morning to you. Nice to see you here, folks. Should be a good stream today. Gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know? What do you call a pig that does karate? A pork chop. Hiya! Swinging and getting ready to do this show here this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go. Why not? Enough peeps. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's just back up just a smidge, Rooney. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Brody Alfonso. Do you like tracking the prices of magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much gall darn information? Let me do it for you. I'm here on the channel Monday through Fridays. Got my cup of coffee on hand, ready to dive into some Magic the Gathering stocks and some Magic the Gathering talks. I want to thank everybody. All are welcome here. Sharing a few thoughts and opinions here this morning. Maybe gonna have just a little bit of fun. No matter where you've got Brody dragging from the bumper of the car, maybe hanging from the rear view mirror. Perhaps you've got me sitting on the kitchen counter next to the coffee pot. Wherever you are, I want to thank you for allowing me to join you here in your morning, May 29th, 2023. I'm going to try and have a little bit of fun here on the stream with you. I'm going to just get to the point where we make sure the stream is working. Let's check out a couple of these AI-generated magic cards. Have you noticed the AI lately? It's getting a little bit smarter. There's even a few videos going around with the Photoshop faces. I guess you could call the AI shopped faces on the characters. It's pretty interesting the rate at which things are developing. In fact, there are some folks in the Hollywood circuit afraid that the writers are going to be out of work here at some point in time. And if they can do that, what else can they do? Perhaps they could write us some magic cards. Maybe it's possible that we get some good content. We don't have to rely on Wizards of the Coast to bring us new magic cards all the time. Well, let's get into it here this morning. As usual, if you've never been here already, I'll go over the rules with you here, folks. Just a minute. I know your time is valuable and you don't have time to waste. So if there's any gibberish on the card, we fail it, you'll hear this sound. The sound of the buzzing, cousin. And if it's a decent card, even if it's a little bit overcosted, if it's got playability to it any way whatsoever, maybe it's a little bit inefficient, we're going to hear this sound. That's the dinger. You know what I mean? Let's get into this card right here this morning for you folks. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. What do we got here? Gower's Gloom. Gower's. Pat the Pauper. Hey, handsome. How are you doing? Whoa, whoa. To what do we owe the pleasure, my friend? Nice to see you, Pat. Glad you could make it. Always good to see you here, my friend. Let's get some of these comments rolling here. Been a while, been a slice, been a little bit of time, but it's still very nice. The Brody Alfonso still hanging out in the morning. Glad to start the day with you. Peace to you, my man. Chats are coming in hot this morning. New pin chats. Click it to read it. Got it. Let's click it, read it. Look at the beard. The hat's looking good. Ah, you're too kind. Good morning, peeps. Carcinogens in the house. We've got a little bit of... Let's look at this card here. Make sure that everything's working just right, you know? It takes just a second to double check things. His gremlins got into the screen overnight. What do we got here? Goer's Gloom. Goer's Gloom. Let's get going. Let's get going. Let's get glooming. Let's get running. Let's get ruining. Goer's Gloom's a changeling for 2 mana. 2 colorless. Patent Popper. Usually I'd have to be at work, but I'm lucky enough to hang out with you folks. Yeah, buddy. Mr. DJ Longhair, good morning, good morning. This is a changeling. It's 2 colorless mana for an instant changeling? Really? Oh gosh, got my finger over the buzzer here already this morning. This might not last very long. Tap up to 2. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Then reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. How can this instant be a changeling? Let's see. 2 mana, tap 2 target creatures, reveal a card, put it in your hand. Sure. I'm feeling generous. Can you feel the generosity here this morning, right? Why not? Seems okay. Just that changeling on there is a little bit odd. Let's go to the next one. Full art version of it, nevertheless. Who else we got here? Crozen Spellbomb? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black pips and 4. This is 9 mana for a sorcery. It better be good. What do we get for 9? What does a guy get for 9 mana these days? Not much. You get a sorcery that cascades. Each player sacrifices your life. Then you gain 3 life. Exile all lands they control. No. No. I see what you're trying to do here. Just make it big and black and destroy things. Gotta be a little better than that. Sacrifice your life, right? Things are getting out of control. This one's really kind of sweet. All right, moving right along here this morning. Gotta keep the pace, right? This is insanity sauce. Boo! Sacrifice your life. Sacrifice your life. Just kill yourself, right? Straight up, kill yourself. Kill yourself. Gain 3 life. Then exile all lands. Word salad. Let's give it a little bit of salad. I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee with you folks here this morning. It's Monday. What have you got planned for the week? That's not too bad. I got a busy week myself. We're going to get out there and kick it in the butt. You don't stand a chance, Monday. Brody's coming packing a boot. What do we got here? Viroshan Lord Duelist. 3 green manas for a 3/3 human artificer. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, proliferate then populate. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less. Very nice. We got the Allosaurus-y type Shepherd here. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less. It's got that Gore Claw type of card flavor on it. It proliferates and populates. Building the community 1 subscriber at a time. Thank you folks for joining here. 316. I guess should I have my... I was going to have my... Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we'll see if Brody will come out bare-chested with a black vest on screaming Brody 316, right? Any wrestling fans in the house? This thing's fair. Oh, come on, overpowered. How do people say it's overpowered? It's 3 green. That's a tasty green card. It is good. What about this one? 5th Rant Engineer. This has got that Shivan Dragon. No, not Shivan Dragon. It's got Dragon Mana on it, though. It's 2 red and 3 for a 3/3. Nice card. Legendary creature Zombie Knight. Good night, my friend. This zombie is going to end your life. It's a 3/3 whenever 5th Rant Engineer deals combat damage to a player. That player loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of lands you control. Wow. You know, I don't think that's been on a card yet. We've got lots of cards in the game that say, get this creature has the power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. This creature gains XX. Equal to the number of lands you control. This is a fine-looking card. It's like the Dakin Blackblade, but it's a little bit better. Could you imagine with the Blackblade Reforged on this sucker? Getting it +X, where X is the number of lands, and then when it deals combat damage to the player, that player loses X life? Zombie Knight. This is good. 5th Rant Engineer. It even seems balanced. A 3/3 for 5 mana. Right? It'd see play. I'm with you on that one. Decent card. Totally. Lots of people saying it's fair. Wastes. Look at this basic land. I like the wastes. It looks wasteful. Looks like a bunch of decrepit old buildings falling apart and in shambles, kind of looking a little bit rough over there. Who we got in the chat? Good morning, everybody, fine folks from around the world. Let's do this full stream here this morning. Like we're coming at you. We're growing the attention span of the viewers here. We want you guys to stay focused. What's new? Lord of the Rings coming up pretty quick here. Yeah, spoilers and everything. Good looking waist, I'd say to my girlfriend. Look at this, Hour of the Shinobi. Target creature you control gets 2/2 until end of turn, unless defending player controls 3 or more cards from that player to ignore. Unless that defending player controls 3 or more cards for that player to ignore. How many cards have you got there that I can ignore? Well, I've got lots. You can ignore all of my cards. I don't know. Very strange. The Hour of the Shinobi. Just to give a creature a buff of 2/2? Nah, let's get it out of here. Doesn't seem that good. Oh, man. I think that's funny. All right. That's a fine looking card. Word salad, yes. How about this one? Skirk mix. You know, when you're making... It's a DJ. Mr. DJ Longhair. This one's for you. Get the skirk mix? You see, you got the tables, he's twisting, he's got the background lights, he's got the dangly earring, he's got the fog effects going on, a little bit of woot. Yeah, right? Woot woot. This guy's a little skirt. Skick a skirt mix. Skick a skirt mix. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. Huh? Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. It just, a creature becomes a copy of a creature, skirk mix. Mixing it, boot it. Let's give it a boo. Why not? Each clutching player reveals cards from the top of their library, then puts the card on the top or bottom. A player wins if their card had a higher mana. It's got Clash on it, but it... I can't... Okay, it's going to get both. It's going to get a plus for really wanting to be cool, but it's buzzing for not actually... It's even got the Clash keyword text on it, but it doesn't clash. It should say Clash with an opponent. They're just throwing random word text in italics onto magic cards now and saying, look, we got ourselves the magic card. Pretty much what the game design company can admit it is doing at the moment. Sanctuary Adapt. What is this little good? Golgari for a green, a black, and 2 for a 3/3. Cat Berserker. It's a Berserker. This Cat Berserker here is a 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 white. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it, Sanctuary Adept. And for 5 mana, 1 green and 1 white, you can tap it to put a green frog creature token with flying. First strike, death touch, hex, proof, haste, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. This is everything that you could ask for. It puts the most incredible green frog creature token into play. Flying, first strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, vigilance. 11 keywords. You get a frog with all 11 keywords on it. It doesn't have shadow or fear. I don't know. I want something better out of my frogs. Is there a better frog? Probably not. This has got to be the one. Here's the frog. This is good. This is the frog you get. You get the frog with all of this stuff. It becomes itself like a dude in their 30s. It gets itself a new Corvette and a black leather jacket, a pair of shades, and it becomes itself. Forest, very nice. I like this frog, though. Look at how chrome it is. Shiny, and it's become shiny and chrome. Love it. Forest, let's give that a ding. I could take it. Forethal Slug. This one's slugging along at 0/0 power and toughness. Life is tough for a slug. 1 red and 4. Forethal Slug's power and toughness equals the number of lands you control. Tap 2 zombie, untap zombies you control, get energy, pay 2 energy to draw a card. Busted. Too good, too good. Glimping Lord, Phyrexian Wall. For 2/2, you get a black. For black and 1, you get a 2/2. Alright. You get the 2/2 with Defender. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Glimping Lord unless you pay 1. A red and tap it, choose target creature you control, and turn the Choose target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. It gains Haste Out Bean. Haste Out Bean, and any player may activate this ability, but only during their command zone. No! Get out of here! I can't take it anymore. This sucker is just some odd. Oh gosh, get me out of there. That was too much to take. Some of these AI generated magic cards are just brutal. Some good and some not too bad, but why did the monster eat the light bulb? Because he wanted a light snack? Oh, oh, folks, we got to get some articles in us here this morning. Why not? It's going to be good. Let's head on over to the stock desk this morning. Do you like tracking the prices of magic cards? Is there enough information out there? Is there enough spoilers? Is there too much gall darn information out there? Do you know what's coming next? Is it going to affect the market? Is a new set coming out? Did you miss something? Join me here in the mornings when we talk about it. I like checking the stock desk for news articles today. Here we go, the weekly winners from last week. All right, we're going to just do a little recap here. Arjun from the stock desk got a news article for us today. Let's go. What do you say? Come on. Me and Brody, Alfonso, hit that like button. Let's go for 50 likes on this sucker. Likes, and more likes. Heads on pikes and kids on bikes. Let's roll this news article for you folks. Today we've got the weekly winners. This week is mainly dominated by constructed eternal formats, including one card from CEDH. I even seen Alliance's card here that I like, and I've had my eye on for quite a bit. It's chosen to be in this article here today with you and me. Let's go. Last week's weekly winners included a little bit of a focus on some magic cards. Let's have a little sip of coffee. Starting off with a newer rare from March of the Machine, the Human Knight that costs 5 mana. 5 mana for this knight? Kind of expensive. What do we get for 5 mana these days? It better be a lot. We're looking for more than the average bear. Costs 5 mana, but it's a lot cheaper to cast if you have some creatures on the battlefield that can convoke it. The Convoke is more important than just making Knight of Errant Eos cheaper. It also affects the power on the enter the battlefield ability. This card's $7.99. It's one of our weekly winners from last week. It was $1, and at the end of the week, it's coming in at just under $10. So what does this card do? Well, the March of the Machine 4/4 Human Knight cost you a white and 4. It's got Convoke on it, which means your creatures can help you cast it by tapping them down. And it says, when Knight of the Errant of Eos enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards with mana value X or less from among them, where X is the number of creatures that convoke Knight of the Errant Eos. Put the revealed cards into your hand and shuffle. Wow, this sucker gets you good stuff. For $10, I mean, maybe there's some hits here. Where are folks playing it? Well, last week the card went up 900% for both regular and extended art prints, and a spike that this usually indicates some type of content creator. And this card is no different. Maybe you've heard of this small-time creator, Aspiring Spike. A deck using Fiend Artisan and Grinding Station, and that was just this year. Knight of Errant Eos is played in his Shiny Humans deck in Modern, including 2 types. Is that a fact? You can streamers, YouTubers, just people put this card in their deck and it goes to $10. Sure, why not? I don't think it's gonna last there, but maybe if you can get $10 from it, sure, why not? Is it that good? It could be. White, blue, Azorius. We got the Errant Eos, the Thalia Garden of Thraben, Unsettled Mariner, Thalia's Lieutenant Ranger, Captain of Eos. This is the one that rides the Savannah Lion. Luminarch, Aspirant, Esprit Sentinel, and Champion of the Paris with Adeline, Resplendent Cathar. There seems to be another reason for the card to go up as much as it did, and that's because Pioneer, the new Boros Convoke deck, is putting up results at Play Night of the Aran Eos, and Venerated Loxodon. Venerated Loxodon, not a bad card, but another Elefante. This last card will also slowly keep moving up a bit in price, but since then there were reprints and it's had a little more in circulation. So the deck's main attraction is for playing 4 Loxodon and 4 Knight of Errant, and churning out turn 4 power as early as 14 power as early as turn 2 with cheap creatures and the tokens that it makes. It's possible to convoke these 5-drops as early as turn 2, where the Knight of the Air and Eos is great in attrition-based matchups. Digging deep for more threats, the Venerated Loxodon enhances the convoke creatures' ability and bringing us to a swift victory. The deck maximizes convoke cards with Gleeful Demolition, Thraben Inspector making the Clue token, and the Ornithopter. Of course, the Ornithopter costs us nothing, and it can tap to convoke. Alright, creature generation is coming from Forbidden Friendship, the sorcery that creates a 1/1 dinosaur with a token with haste, and a 1/1 white soldier creature token. And Resolute Enforcements, another card that says when it enters the battlefield, you get a 1/1 white soldier creature. So tokens, leading with Reckless Bushwhacker. That's why this card is going up, and it's giving you a quick damage because you can whack it. This last card, the Bushwhacker, also showing up in interest this little last week. Went up about 70 cents to $4, which is a 471% increase. I think we talked about this last week, Bushwhacker seeing a little bit. In fact, I know we did. Nature's Chosen. Here's an Alliances card. This is an interesting card. It's from Alliances. It's an enchant creature card, and it's one of those few enchantments that says 0, do something. So for 1 green mana, this enchant creature from Alliances says you can play on a creature you control. 0, untap enchanted creature, uses this ability only during your turn and only once a turn. So like Instill Energy, it's sort of like that. And then 0, tap enchanted creature to untap target artifact, creature, or land. Uses ability only if enchanted creature is white and only once each turn. So a card like Instill Energy, this is the way we used to do it. Let's just take a look here. This is all we had to untap a creature was this card, Instill Energy, 1 green, and you can untap the creature once during each of your turns and give you a little extra boost, some little bit more fun into your deck. But this card here, this one for sure definitely is just a little bit different. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's got that extra text on it that says it can tap to untap something else. So let's read on. This card's seeing $20. Is it on the reserve list? Let's see. It may very well be. Nature's Chosen. Choosing and not losing. Nope, it's not on the reserve list. I would have kind of thought it might be, but it's not. $20 for this card? Yeah, really? Give me a break. $8.75, a spike in price. This sucker hasn't seen any attraction or no action forever. What's the big idea, Brody? Well, the older, less known uncommon from Alliances, they were going over the card text, and it's got this old wording on it and some great images on it. The aura enchantment that taps lets you untap a creature you control, and then once each turn you can pay 0 and do it. Well, the 2 main factors that contributed to the first rise on the card is that it's from an old set, making a good condition copies are quite rare, and the second is that the card was spotlighted by content creator and comedian Pixel Store 1 in a comprehensive CDH deck. I'm actually really getting kind of boring how these articles about weekly winners are just like, this card is going up in price because some YouTuber used it in a deck. It's funny to me. It's funny how much maybe I should start streaming with these cards. Yes. Make the price go back down. All right, not all the way. Here we go. So the 2 main factors is that it's from an old set, and then another comedian MTG YouTuber Pixel Store played it in a comprehensive EDH deck. And it just sort of, I guess, showcase a card that doesn't get a lot of attention. All right, not all players share this enthusiasm, with some arguing it doesn't even deserve a spot in the top 10 untap effects. This discrepancy between player opinion and the card's price surge is attributed to a buyout, where hundreds of copies were purchased at ever increases prices. However, it does seem to be just that, a buyout. The card does seem to have direct synergy with the deck in Commander Tamiya Luminous Enigma. Get some Enigma. Oh, what are you having for breakfast? I'm having Enigma and bacon. Bacon and eggs? Bacon and Enigma. It's merely the deck that untaps Guy's Cradle to make a bunch of mana, right? You put it on a dork, you untap your creature. If it's a white creature, you can untap an artifact, creature, or land. What does speak for the card is that the art was created by Rebecca Guay, rather popular magic artist that is also currently featured in Secret Lair series. Third on the list today, Invasion of the Gobakan. Gobakan. I think the barrier to entry will keep them pricey for a while. At least they will get a reprint. It's pretty solid in aggro. All right, this one is the one. Let's see, Battle Siege. I gotta turn my head sideways. When Invasion of the Gobakan enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from target opponent's hand. You may, for as long as that card remains, exile its owner may play it. Oh, its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 more to cast, and then when you flip it, you get the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 counter on each creature that attacked this turn, and sacrifice Light Shield Array. Creatures control gain Hexproof and Indestructible. So it gives you a little bit of a overrun effect. So the Invasion of the Gobakan, Chaka Khan. All right. I think it's the first time a battle has made its way into the weekly winners. Invasion of Gobakan can be played to disrupt your opponent's hand just a bit. It doesn't discard a card from their hand, but it exiles it from where it can be still cast for 2 more. Once the battle has been defeated, it transforms into a Light Shield Array and puts a 1/1 counter on each creature that attacked this turn, beginning of your end step. It can also be sacrificed to give your creatures Hexproof and Indestructible until end of turn. We're saying this card appear in multiple formats around the standard: Azorius, Soldiers, White Weenies, Pioneers. See it both in Azorius builds and Bant builds. Azorius builds and Bant builds, while the white mid-range deck builds it as well. We're even seeing it show up in Legacy and Modern builds. Cheap pickups for this week. Cheap pickups. You're starting the week off right. Get yourself some Skull Clamp. Throw this helmet on, right? Do us all a favor. Record low. For our record low, we consider the price of the card over the last 7 years. Many cards have been even cheaper a decade ago, so note that some cards are still going down and might even be cheaper next week. But this card here, Skull Clamp, seems to be moving up. This is definitely a format warping card. For 1 mana, you can equip a creature, give it +1, -1, and if it dies, you draw 2 cards. So people sort of end up clamping their own stuff. Clamping and glamping this summer out in the wilderness. Glamping? Skull Glamp? Does this mean you pack up the RV, the satellite dish, the hot tub, the radio? Skull Glamp. It's been identified as a stocked as premium penny stock feature, as this card's been reaching a bottom and is starting a consistent uptrend, standing up at $4.86. But Alkin Orrery slowly moving down is $6. This card's seen a few reprints. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Pretty good for a 4-mana colorless card. I do think it made a appearance back in Kaladesh block, a really good printing of it, and seen again a printing in the Double Masters. Sneak Attack in the retro frame. Stable, $8. If you guys ever wanted to lose to Sneak and Show, you wanted to build it, maybe now's the time to pick up some copies. You get the retro frame for $8 for Sneak and Show. Season card enchantment for a red and 3. It hits the battlefield and you can pay 1. Put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield and that creature gains haste. You got to sacrifice to the end of the turn, but who cares if you're sneaking Embercool or something onto the battlefield that's just going to win your game in one shot. Maybe a Blightsteel Colossus, an Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, Kozilek the Butcher of Truth. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. Make sure you check back next week where we're going to find some more weekly winners, usually coming to you folks on Monday, because that's the day where we sort of head back into the work field and we go, all right. I love my six-pack so much, I like to protect it with an extra layer of fat. That's right. And what do you call someone who doesn't fart in public? A private tutor. Let's see here. Folks, do you hear that sound? Do you sound so sweet? Can you hear that tapping with your feet? Do it with me here this morning. Do you like tracking these prices of Magic cards? I like doing it. Each and every morning, Monday through Friday, we're doing the movers and the shakers. Can you hear it? Can you feel what's going on? All right. What do you call a carcinogen? What do you call a pile of cats? That would be a mountain. And how do farmers find new cows to buy? Well, they look through the catalog, of course. Let's look at the catalog of some Morning Magic the Gathering cards here this morning. It's May 29th, 2023. I want to thank you folks for joining me. It's the 316 of you amazing subscribers. Can you frapper le bouton, as they say en français? Frapper le bouton, appuyez sur le bouton de thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We're trying to get the algorithm to march us up in the rankings. The top tier subscribers watching and tuning in on the show. Let's go. Monday Modern. Are you heading to Magic Cards today? If you can't make it over to Magic Cards in the morning or in the evening, bring a friend to Brody's. We are welcome here. Grab that cup of coffee. I gotta make another sip. That first one tasted too good. You know, I brewed it myself this morning. I fired up the machine. I really made a mean cup of coffee to have with you folks this morning. Start out the day off right. Wherever you are, try and come out swinging. Do the best job you can. Leave people speechless. Upright and positivity. Here on a Monday morning, we've got Gemstone Caverns topping the pile on the modern list. Does the pig go to the five... Does the pig go to 5 cards deep? Of course it does. All right. Gemstone Caverns. Here's a card that is expensive, right? $62. Let's look at the chart on this. Hey, the debt ceiling level in the United States. Have you guys, have you heard what's going on? And we got to the end of the month to figure out what's going to happen in the debt ceiling level. We could be in for some more inflation. If you haven't heard already, we're going to feel it up here in Canada too. We've taken on a toffee time for sure. Murray, thanks for joining, buddy. Sorry I couldn't make it yesterday. Strata meeting, and then I had to come home and do homework. It was a few hours. I was working on that till 7 o'clock at night. Thank goodness Miss Alfonso gave me a hand with my homework. I got it handed in, so I don't have to worry about it today. Thank goodness. Sometimes you got to sacrifice. You got to put the big kid pants on, and you can't always play Magic cards all the time, although I wish I could. I really do wish I could. Where are we here?
Sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
Ha ha. Where's the money, Brody? Well,
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
exactly. As soon as we commit to quitting our job full time and we're giving up on being a professional dog walker, we're gonna just do Magic cards full time stock market guy. This card's seen a couple of ups and downs in its day, hasn't it now? Let's look at this card here. Gemstone Mine? There's two, though. Just remember, I got to get the right one. Gemstone Mine or Gemstone Caverns? The Caverns. I always mix the two up. The Caverns and the Mine. So this is, yeah, they're both expensive, but this is the Cavern. Let's see here. We got one tick up in price. Two tick up in price. Three tick up in price. Four tick up in price. This card has ticked up so many times, and look, it continues to do it. It's actually making a new all-time high right now. I know I sit on a playset of this, but look at the ceiling level of this card. It's never been higher. Never been higher. That sounds like a song. Never been higher than a Gemstone Caverns. You take me higher than a Gemstone Caverns. Fair enough. This card's never been higher in price. It's seen a couple of reprints. It sure has. And it's even been released in the list, I believe. Let's have a look here. Time Spiral Remastered and the list. Yes. The Time Spiral foil. Man, did I sleep on this card. Like, this is an instance where I shoulda, coulda, woulda bought the original foil. I can look back to when I bought a couple of copies of this card. I never did think it was, you take me higher. It's $450. Just when you thought this card wasn't going to go any higher in price, and it does. It's super relevant how $625 to $450. What are the vendors selling it for? $300 for the foil OG Time Spiral card. So, like, you want to know where the money is today, ladies and gentlemen? All right, Modern Tournament's coming out. Homework, gross, I know. Gotta be a big kid sometimes. So, like, this is an example of, like, where the money is, right? $450 for a foil Time Spiral. Maybe go back in this Time Spiral block and see if we're sleeping on any of the foil variants back when foils were foils and still meant something. Any decks using it? The Footfalls deck. Are people just playing this as sideboard tech in case they lose the dice roll? Perhaps. Crashing Footfalls. How many copies? Gemstone Mines. Gemstone Caverns. Two copies of the Caverns. Why not? It goes in a deck if you want to play it in Modern. What's this? First place, 4-0. So the more this deck wins, the more it's going to go up in price, especially the foil version. And those original foils like Shadowmoor, Lauren, Eventide, and Morningtide, even the Time Spiral foils, Marcadian Mask foils. You want to talk about foils, like in this day and age, and when I talk about foils, I'm not talking about the new variants. No one cares about the new foils. We like the old ones. Yeah, the new ones are nice and shiny, but there's just too many of them, right? So something that's a little bit scarce, like this Gemstone Caverns, you know what I mean? Commanding a $450 price tag, even $62.78. I mean, if I had it, I remember buying this card because I bought it like a play set and I wanted to put it in a deck, and like, really, I should have bought the foil version. I also screwed up. I'll tell you about my derps. I decided whether, because I bought this card when City of Traders and Ancient Tomb were roughly the same price, and I underestimated the Ancient Tomb and the City of Traders, and I went with the Ancient Tomb foils. A case where Brody ate his own lunch. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But here's another card that actually Gaming Bob, he brought us this card a couple of months ago, maybe just a couple of weeks ago. It's a really good anthem. We were talking about Vanquisher's Banner. We were also talking about other anthems in the game. This one's $18.99. Looking at the chart on it, going back, it's seen a real big tick up in price from $8 to $23, and now it's taken a bit of a haircut down to that $18 mark. Coat of Arms from 10th edition. I think there's a few more versions of this card. Again, a foil version from 7th edition. This one, the most expensive one, coming in at $350. Holy smokes, $385. Coat of Arms, 10th edition, taking a boost in price. The foil edition, definitely worth a couple of bucks. Exodus foil, no. Where are we here? Magic 2010, 33. 9th edition, 42. This is an expensive bloomin' card. Coat of Arms, and why? Is it just not seen a reprinting in a while? Since 10th? 2010, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Then again, Exodus, Tempest Remastered. It hasn't, yeah, no, this card has not seen a reprint in a while. Wizards is holding this one back. This card costs a few. 5 mana. Each creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature in play that shares a creature type with it. Unfortunately, this also affects your opponent's creatures, so it hooks your opponents up too. Yeah, that's right, it does, DJ. And notice that. It does hook up your opponent. So, like, the Vanquisher's banner is maybe a little more one-sided, a little bit nicer. Decks using Krenko Mob Boss, because the Gobos, right? Sliver Overlord, Urtet the Memnarch, Tribal, right? Tribal. Any tribal creature decks are definitely going to be playing it. Siddar Jabari, Edgar Markov in the first sliver. Urza's Saga. This card is just going to keep going. I need this card. I didn't buy it when it first came out. I'm kicking myself because I thought maybe I'd try and open it. But another format warping card from Modern Horizons 2. Darn, this sucker is good. The Urza's Saga Enchantment Land. It's going to get a reprint. Totally going to get a reprint. Showcase foil, $58. It's a lot of decks using it, a lot of use cases. There's even ways to tutor for it because I think it counts as an artifact. No, yes, no, no, yes, no. Search your artifact. It tutors itself. Search your library for an artifact with mana value 0 or 1, then put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. So that's what this thing does for you. It wins games. It's really good. Decks using it. Paradoxal Outcome, Vintage, Modern, Legacy, all the formats are playing it. And look at the price chart on this sucker. It's steady. It's the debt. I think they actually ignored the debt ceiling level. That's what I think has happened. I think they said, we're going to defer the debt ceiling issue for another year. We're just going to pretend it doesn't happen. So in doing so, there's no debt ceiling. So we're going to see some more money getting printed. More money printing go burr. While companies like Hasbro work hard to suck the funds out of your wallet. Good morning. Papa Hatcher's in the house. Can't wait till they make a saga named Fallen Empires. Ha ha! Love it. Thanks for joining. Mike Hatcher's in the house. Glad to have you here this morning. Thank you. I did catch some of your live stream. I was watching in the background yesterday. Good live stream yesterday. I did enjoy checking it out. I was there. I was listening. Wasn't commenting. Just watching, observing. All right, fourth off the top, Greater Oromancy. You know, this card is darn good. You're speaking of Shadowmoor foils. Now, here's a card that... What's this worth in foil? This got to be worth a bucket of sand. Yes, $85 for this card. And this card, like, I'll tell you why this card is so amazing. For one, the art on it looks pretty great. It's an enchantment and it costs 1 white and 1. And it's definitely not going to get a reprint. And here I'll tell you why. Because it's got the keyword ability. This card is super unique because it's got the keyword ability Shroud. And I don't know that game development is ever going to go back to Shroud in the future. But let's read the card. Costs a white and 1. Other enchantments you control have Shroud. Can't be the target of spells or abilities. I don't know when the last time we had something with Shroud put on it. Maybe the Swiftfoot Boots. Perhaps is it the Boots or is it the Lightning Greaves that give the Shroud? I think it's going to be a Snowball's chance in summer to see this sucker reprinted. And then enchanted creatures you control have Shroud. It's a rare from Shadowmoor. It's $85 for the foil version. You can get the non-foil version here for about $32. An expensive card. Playing in Boggles, I believe that's where folks are playing it. Go Shinto of Life's Origin. Oloro Aegis Ascetic. Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice. Sith's Harvest Sand. Zur the Enchanter. Mirkul, the Lord of the Bones. It is Greaves. Thank you. It will be the best and most expensive saga ever, perps. Right? The Fallen Empires saga. I can't wait till they make a saga named Fallen Empires. Should be good. So this Greater Oromancy card, there even have been articles written on the Greater Oromancy card, and the fact that it's sort of rare and it's unlikely to see a reprint. There's plenty of enchantment decks using it. All these ones that we see here. So if you like enchantments, if you like protecting your enchantments, and it's sort of one of those cards that helps itself, so it protects your other enchantments. It's good that way. So you got to remove this before you can actually remove or you can remove another enchantment. So in an enchantment deck, this is the nut draw. It's pretty good. Hollowed Fountain. This is the Modern Monday movers and shakers here this morning. We got the Hollowed Fountain. This one's the Azorius. It's a blue-white land. This is the one from the original Ascension. You can see the set symbol there. This one's rare, coming in at $28. Holy moly. I was super happy when we got the Ravnica reprints of these lands because it waited so long to get them. The Hollowed Fountain was one I wanted to play. Definitely look at the chart on this sucker. It's moving and a grooving here this morning. Coming up, took a tick up in price around New Capenna, and now it's kind of slowly trending down. I don't know what's going to happen, if we're going to see fetches and shocks in a new set anytime soon this year or next. But it all depends on what we get, whether this thing's going to stay stable. There was a time when folks told me, they're like, Brody, every 2 years we'll get like a reprinting. And I guess there was a period of time when Modern was very popular, probably 8-10 years ago, when every 2 years you'd get a set of shocks, and then every 2 years after that you'd get fetches, and then 2 years after that you'd get the enemy shocks, and then 2 years after that the allied fetches, and they would sort of rotate through, which gave a little bit of a scarcity to these shocks and fetches. They were standard staples in Modern, and sort of gone away from reprinting them because they don't think we want to be shuffling so much in Standard. But who knows, that could change with the 3-year rotation. Chalice of the Void off the top, 1 2 3 4 5 6 off the top is the Chalice. Now how good this card is, it's really good. It's really good because it's sideboard tech and it works in a variety of decks to shut down your opponents from casting spells that cost 0. It also, you can cast it for 0, so you can get a cast trigger for something that's no mana. It will tap for blue if you got Urza's Lord High Artificer on the board, and it will still counter your opponent's stuff. You can pump mana into it if you make it a 1 counter, if you pay X and X. So when it enters the battlefield, the X charge counters on. You got to pay XX. Whenever a player casts a spell with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Chalice of the Void, counter that spell. Fun fact, if you're ever playing against an opponent, try and cast your spells. If they don't say, I counter it with Chalice, you can miss triggers off. Good morning, Michael Superbacker. Nice to see you here, buddy. I missed you. I've missed you too. All is well. Brody is on like week 4. Whatever your station is in life, I hope you're out there working hard, doing the best that you can to make a positive impression on the world and take on your station in life with integrity. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm really busy these days. People are moving around the world. We're putting lots of folks to work. I'm trying to be the working man for the working man. I know you folks care about the working man, and I care about the working man. We got to look out for one another because we know the big corporations may not be looking out for the working man, right? We are definitely looking out for each other. I've been busy. So I still get some, what do we got on the docket for this week? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm going to be heading out of town. So any of you folks tuning in, I may not be able to do the show Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm going to have to head out of town. But I start work early on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm going to be working for the weekend, but that's okay. Got to make up for lost time here today and do the show for as many days as I possibly can. if you don't see me online, some people ask, they're like, Brody, are you okay? What happened? Sometimes I do get called to start early, and there's not much I can do about it. I don't usually have a tendency to say no. I'm always affirmative, no problem. Be there right away when I can. So if you don't see me on the odd day here and there on the stream, you can always shoot me a text, hit me up on the Discord. But just rest assured that I'm probably starting early that day, and I can't spend my mornings with you, even though I wish I could. Trust me. Chalice of the Void, a card that's seen plenty of reprints and even got the retro frame Exodus border treatment. Look at this one. The Judge promo for $130. This is a decent looking promo. The Chalice. Got a Chalice, a Skull, Sword, the Kaladesh Inventions version. This one looks kind of weird. It's like, who's drinking out of this Chalice? It's got the giant cup handles on it. And then, of course, the Mirrodin version, the original foil Mirrodin version, $144. There's a few different versions of this, ranging in price all the way from $50 to $200. You can get a cheaper version. The original Mirrodin is actually still the cheapest, and going all the way up to $265 for the Invention. Expensive, but the best foil treatment that Wizards ever did, in my opinion. Well, even though the art on it is kind of situational. All right, let's check this out. The chart on this sucker, it's definitely got a kick to it. It's the one spicy meatball. This one here. Trending up in price a couple of times. It's definitely let's look at the Kaladesh version. Why not? Let's look at the Kaladesh. Why not? Let's look at the granddaddy of them all. Let's check it out. All right, good guys. Good guys know that this card's expensive, right? Holy moly. And you know, look at the difference in this chart. For example, here's the Kaladesh Invention version, and it's actually kind of flat. It's like from here to here, from east to west, this is actually a fairly flat chart with not a lot of peaks and valleys. Maybe one kind of a trend down in price and a little haircut here. Chart heading this way, of course, but like not a whole lot of volatility, meaning going up and down. And then when we head back to another version of the card here, meaning let's just take the one we were just looking at, the Modern Masters version. This version has actually got a few more peaks and valleys to it, a little bit of more buy sell action. So this is the volatility, right? Taking a tick up in price here, a second time, another time, a few times this card has seen some action. Murray, what did people play? What did you guys play this weekend? Have you ever drank from the Chalice of the Void? No, I haven't. What happens when you do? It sounds like bad things happen. Archie, is possible. You have too many drinks from the Chalice of the Void, you pass out. Mono Green Tron in Moderns play it. 4 and 5 color Omnath. Rakdos mid-range. All these decks playing it. 8 cast. I do like this 8 cast deck. It's definitely something I would want to play. It's got that Thought Monitor. Let me look at this card. Let's look at this deck here. Thought Monitor. Yes, here's the card. This is actually a pretty cool deck. Emery Lurker in the lock. Psy Master Thopterist. Kappa Cannoneer. And then Thought Monitor drawing all kinds of cards. Then it's got the mono blue action going at Force of Will, Thought Cast, and the Chalice of the Void. All in the 8 cast deck. 9th place, 5 and 1. A powerful vintage deck. But as far as modern goes, Mono Green Tron, 4 and 5 color Omnath, and Rakdos mid-range. Burn's playing it. I don't know why. Burn? There's a white, blue, red Burn. Swift Spear, Monastery Swift Spear, Goblin Guide, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, Boros Charm, Lightning Helix, Searing Blaze. Where's the blue? Oh, Ovar the All Form. Splashing it. A little bit of blue. City of Brass. Interesting card. Now, this was a Mana Severance, I think was the card that we looked at just last week. No, it was, what's the one that you got to pay 1 life? It's so similar to City of Brass. Mana Confluence. That's right. Very similar to Mana Confluence. This one from Modern Masters, $12. I know there's some expensive versions of this. The World Championship decks, a bunch of them. The Arabian Nights card. Here's the original, $5.50 for the City of Brass. Let's look at that one. This is the expensive one. Why not? Very expensive. $550. Not a lot of volatility. Looks like we have some price manipulation over here at around October 2021. And the City of Brass here from Modern Masters is sitting at about $12.99, as high as $40 around Strixhaven kind of here. This thing took a crash in price. Big haircut for the City of Brass. I wonder why. Decks using it: Atraxa the Praetor's Voice, the Dragon, Omnath, Locust of All, Kenrith the Return King. All commander decks using it. Dredge in Modern playing it. One Modern deck playing it, the Dredge deck, with the Golgari Thug, the Narcomoeba, and the Stinkweed Imp. Why not? I would think like a card like, or a deck like Death Shadow would want to play it because it kind of damages yourself. Fixes your mana, but maybe they're just single color and 2-color decks. Cavern of Souls. Another great card. 7th edition foil City of Brass is the big dog. You're not kidding. Let's take a look here. How much is the 7th edition, Coach? Coach! 7th edition City of Brass, right? If we could just go back in time. Can Brody go back in time? Get myself some $1,650 for the City of Brass, eh? Oh my, oh my. There's a hell of a card. Commanding a hell of a price in a hell of a place. 7th edition foils. Wow. Cavern of Souls, another land on the top here. The one that is seeing another tick up in price. This is the one that comes into play from Avacyn Restored. You name a creature type, and then it adds mana of any color to be spent on that type of creature, and they can't be countered. Very good in Modern, actually. This card is good because it helps you protect yourself against those pesky blue mages, especially in this Amulet Titan build. Lets you cast your giants. It's also played in Doomsday, so you can get your Thassa's Oracle off. Mono white humans. And that's it for the Cavern of Souls Modern builds. What's this one? Sizan, the Perverter of Truth. Well, kind of strange to see a Perverter of Truth on the list here, but I don't even know what this card does, so let's read it. Right? Is this card been to somebody's island recently? Is it this card, the Perverter of Truth, maybe it's on the flight list. 6/5 for 2 black and 3. Legendary creature, demon, spirit. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses 2 life and draws 2 cards. Wow, that seems okay. A 6/5 for 5 mana, and it does each player. So if you were running this with a Sheoldred, that could be pretty devastating. If your opponents are drawing cards, they're going to be losing life. It was a lot higher than it is now. It was up to around $50. Is there a foil version? Foil boy, foily boily, 73. So the foil version is actually quite a multiplier on this one. Look at the chart on here. Something caused this to crash. It's had an aggressive spike. Could be manipulation. It's quite possible that this sucker just got forced up in price due to some unknown reason. Maybe people speculated on it, bought a couple copies. Maybe got some attention. I'm not sure why, but the shoulder, just as I expected, the Sheoldred deck is definitely the top deck playing it. Nekuzar, the Mind Racer, yeah, Nekuzar, a wheel deck, that's definitely going to push it higher in price. Sizan, the Perverter of Truth, I guess it is a commander. Yeah, it's legendary. Why not? A black commander. Let's take a look at the Sizan deck. No, wait, that's commander. Can't do it. It's Modern Monday. And Fury. Here's a card that I actually need, but I can't bring myself to pay $36.43 for a Modern card. There's an event coming up, a Foot to Face event coming up in August that I'm going to be putting a deck together for. Calls for a place at a Fury, so you do the math on it. You're like, $36 a piece. That's $72 for a place at $140 $4. That's USD. So you're like 150, 200 bucks for a playset of Fury? Yuck, disgusting. Ooh, gross, and no way. That's pretty expensive for some modern age cardboard. Fury's a good card though, and I think it should have had flash on it. Unfortunately, like some of these elementals, like Subtlety and a few other one, I think the Pervert was a combo piece that caused the spike. Yes, the Perv. It was definitely a combo piece with the Shieldred for sure. People would definitely be speculating on that one. I would like this one better if it had flash on it. Because we got Subtlety. How do we spell that? Subtlety. Subtlety. Nailed it. This one's got flash, right? This other elemental, we got Subtlety that has flash. And I think the white one has flash. What's the white one called? The white elemental. I think it also has flash. Why Fury didn't get flash? Maybe it's just too darn good. You can evoke this by exiling a red card from your hand. It's got double strike. It's a 3/3, so it can hit for 6. And then when it enters the battlefield, it does 4 damage. When Fury enters the battlefield, it does 4 damage divided as you choose under any number of creatures or planeswalkers. So it's like a machine gun, pop, 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 kill. It can do 4 damage to a creature and 4 damage to a planeswalker. It can do all kinds of good stuff. Here, just like Brody's doing on the morning show. So Fury, these are your movers and your shakers for Monday, May 29th, 2023. I want to thank you folks for joining me. Let me get some news articles going and rowing here in the world of Magic the Gathering. What's new? Folks, I want to thank you fans for joining me. Amazing fans of Magic the Gathering. Got another news article for you folks here before we get out of here for the day. And we're going to start our Monday kicking butt and taking names. You can do the same. This is my show where I get to share my thoughts and opinions, and all the big boys come to play. Give us a high five and say hello to the Magic the Gathering world out there. It's a great and wonderful world of Magic the Gathering. Let's keep the game rolling. Let's keep that community growing. If you haven't hit that subscribe already, make sure you hit that bouton. Frappe le bouton, if you say. Morning, everybody. Mr. DJ Longhair, Coach, Michael Superbacker, Big Daddy Mike, Hatcher's in the house, Murray Cooper's here, Pat the Popper, and Mr. DJ Longhair, Carcinogen. Let's check out this card article for you folks here today. What? The best? It's the best. This is the White Plume Adventurer, the best magic creatures of all time. All-time high. All-time best creature, all-time high 5, right? Solitude. That's the one I was. Thank you, Coach. Solitude. Let's take a look at the best magic creatures of all times. At a glance, we've got, there it is there at the top of the list. Solitude is listed as the number 11 best creature of all time. We've got Grizzlebrand, Solitude, Dragon Rage Channeler, Deathrite Shaman, Hermit Druid, Hogak, the Archon Necropolis, Arisen, Gogoli Grief, Troll, Yorion, White Plume Adventure, Thassa's Oracle, Ragavan the Nimble Pilfer, and Lurrus of the Dream Den. How do you think this ranking actually fits? Does it fit the biscuit? Is Lurrus a little bit better than Ragavan? Well, Lurrus must be, because he did get a banning where Ragavan's still running around in the format. Throughout Magic's history, a plethora of powerful, iconic creatures have made and been printed. Still, it feels like power creep has given rise to bigger and better creatures in recent years. Tarmogoyf, for example, is an amazing card that at one point dominated multiple formats, and there's no denying that this card's super iconic, but it's noticeable in decline in play. Tarmogoyf was about $250 at one time when Time Spiral Master was out, and now it's darn near the bottom of the list. It doesn't see no love anymore. It's noticeable that it's got a decline in play, especially in Modern, and it's got me curious which older creatures have truly stood the test of time, and how many of Magic's best creatures were printed in recent sets like Modern Horizon 2. After pitting today's top creatures against each other, I got some list together that's got 12 of the best Magic creatures of all time, starting off with Grizzlebrand. Right off the bat, we got an iconic creature who has absolutely stood the test of time, Grizzy B, the Tin Fin. This card's basically one of the best reanimator targets in the game. If you're going to bring anything back on turn 1 or 2, from the graveyard. Grizzlebrand is one of those cards that you'll do just that. It's 7 mana, it's a demon, it's legendary, it's flying, it's got lifelink, and it's got this magic ability on it where you can pay 7 life and draw 7 cards. It's game wrecking. If you can connect with this, it'll gain you 7 more life, or you can pay 7 more life after hitting the lifelink swing and draw 7 more cards. By the time you've drawn 14 or 21 cards, it should be enough to win the game right out there. Cards like Entomb and Animate Dead are the ways that folks to get it into play. It's not only a quick path to victory, but it's available when you're playing plenty of cards that can easily put it directly into play, like Sneak Attack, Show and Tell, and it doesn't require any additional steps to get it into the graveyard. You can just put it into play with Show and Tell or Sneak Attack. It remains one of the top options of creatures available to cheat into play. Coming in at number 11, a card we just talked about recently. This one does have Flash, and I don't know, see, the Fury would be so much better if it had Flash, but it doesn't have it. Solitude, this one's the one that you can evoke it by exiling a white card from your hand, a 3/2, Flash lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, get to exile 1 target creature an opponent controls. Oh, you can do it to yours too. And then that creature gains life equal to its power. Yes, exile 1 target creature. Then it's got Swords to Plowshares on it. Definitely a good card, and it's not as quite as annoying as Teferi Hero Dominaria, but it's very hard to deal with that card. Dragon Rage Channeler. I actually personally don't think this card is that good. It's not, I don't even know why it's on the list. To me, yeah, I think I look at it, if you've got choices between this and Delver of Secrets, I think Delver's actually, it's about the same mana cost. It's a 1/1. This one, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get to Surveil. Is that good? Delirium gives it +2/+0 and gives it flying, so it makes it a 3/1. It's got to attack each combat if able, and I don't know. If I was playing Murktide, I wouldn't even include this in the deck. I just don't like the card. I don't think it's that good. But nevertheless, it's making the way on the list. It can turn on Delirium with cards like Mishra's Bauble and a few other cards. But Dragon Rage Channel are not a particular favorite of mine, despite its popularity in Modern, especially in Murktide Regions decks. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you love the Dragon Rage Channeler? Put a comment in the comment section below. Deathrite Salmon. Here's a card that was banned. It's super good. Like, I don't know that this card will ever see an unbanning anytime soon, but it was touted as the 1 mana planeswalker in the game. It's an elf. It's one black or 1 green. For the simple fact that there's a mana dork here that can make blue mana, you can actually get a blue ramp in Dimir. Because regardless if you're playing green or not, this goes in a blue-black control deck, and then you can use it to exile instants or sorceries or land cards from the graveyard and make blue mana. So it's definitely a dork that makes blue mana if need be. Kind of situational and so powerful that did need to see a banning. Difficult to evaluate in a vacuum, the card ranges to seeing little to no play in Pioneer, is banned in Modern and Legacy for good reason, and then its simple difference is the lack of fetch lands in Pioneer. It does see some play. Deathrite Shaman gets to function as close to a Birds of Paradise, but with major upsides. When it's providing mana to you, it's going to be draining your opponent as well as exiling cards from their bin. And it's easily put it at number 9 on the list here. Hermit Druid. Here's a card that actually going to get some price action. How is this number 8 on the list? All right, well, this card's a combo piece. A green and 1 for a 1/1. You got to pay 1 and tap it to reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land. Put that card into your hand and all other cards this way into your graveyard. It's another card that's quite difficult to rank. It was printed long before Modern came a format, and it's been banned in Legacy since because it became independent from Vintage in 2004. Therefore, there isn't much to gauge its current power level from. With that said, it's the easiest way to win the game, as you don't need to cast any other cards from your hand to win. Just like Cephalid Illusionist and Nomads of Encore, Hermit Druid can mill over your entire library as long as it has no basic lands in it. By activating the ability from there, you can win the game as long as your deck contains Dread Return, 3 copies of Narcomoeba to sacrifice to Dread Return, and Thassa's Oracle to reanimate with Dread Return. The difference is that unlike the Illusionist and Nomads, you only need one Hermit Druid in your library to mill your entire library, which gives you enormous potential. This makes this combo more consistent and dilutes your deck with less cards and ineffective on its own. Too many modern cards need some older stuff too, right? How about Hogak? Here's another card that saw bannings right away. Number 7, there's some banned cards. These are powerful, but they're not standing the test of time. Hogak, the original Risen Necropolis. This is the 8/8, and you can't spend mana to cast it. You have to convoke or delve. You gotta have creatures that tap for a couple mana, and then you have to either delve cards out of your graveyard or tap creatures on the battlefield to get this. People were playing this with the Altar of Dementia, I think, and it became a busted card and a big head scratcher in Modern. After the domination of Treasure Cruise, it was quite clear that Magic community that Delve was an absurdly powerful mechanic, and especially with cards like Treasure Cruise that allowed a minimal amount of mana to be invested. Hogak stretched this even further by requiring no colored mana to be spent to cast it. Instead, colored mana symbols on the card had to be paid for by tapping creatures using its Convoke ability. It may sound restricted, it can only require you to cast 5 cards from your graveyard and tap 2 green or black creatures to cast it. It was simply too easy when paired with creatures that mill you, like Stitcher Supplier, meaning that the downside not being able to spend mana to cast it actually didn't prove to be much of a downside. In fact, it became quite easily to cast. Cards like Bizarre Baghdad that would let you draw 2, discard 3. Get this card online very fast. It's being able to be cast from your hand from Grafdigger's Cage, not really a big problem. So Hogak is definitely finding its way on a list. Bringing us to this, number 6, Golgari Grave Troll. This is a card, number 6. 0/0, 1 green and 4. It enters the battle. Is this card banned because it's got Dredge 6 on it? Yes. There's a bunch of banned cards, and it's another absurdly powerful card from graveyard-centric decks, except using the 6 Dredge. The card that sees play now that isn't banned is the Stinkweed Imp because it's Dredge 5. This one's Dredge 6, so that alone, it just, instead of drawing a card, you could take 6 cards off the top of your library and return that card to your hand, and then people would find ways to do it again. The Golgari Grave Troll is just a disgusting... All these cards are banned. Yorion, not all of them, but a lot of them, and for good reason. What do we got? Yorion the Sky Nomad. Yes, this is another mistake by Wizards of the Coast. The companion mechanic, it definitely was. They had to errata it because it was just too good, and people were using Yorion. Now, the companion rules have changed since the mechanic was first revealed. You used to be able to start with the companion in front of you and just cast it, but now you have to actually pay some mana to get the companion into your hand, and that proved really good with Yorion the Sky Nomad. Since then, it's still popular. People are playing 80 card builds with it, even in Modern, because it doesn't seem to be too big of a downside having 80 cards. But people are also playing it as a companion as well, or just putting it in the 59 or the 60 card deck. So Yorion the Sky Nomad and White Plume Adventurer. This is the one I wanted to read because this one also got banned as well in Legacy. Adventurer's recently printed card that drastically overperformed expectations in internal formats, and it's from Commander set to boot. Adventurer is one of the handful of cards that will give you the initiative when it enters the battlefield. While initiative is well designed in multiplayer formats such as Commander, which is what it was designed for, but it's outrageous in 1v1 because it's often simply too difficult for the opponent to take the initiative from you. Adventurer specifically is the best of the bunch because it only costs 3 mana. Pair that with a fast mana deck like Lotus Petal or Mox Pearl. You can claim the initiative as early as turn 1. From there, you get a slew of benefits from entering the dungeon. Unlike when you become the Monarch and you get to draw cards, you don't need to cast anything else to generate value from the initiative. Pair that with Solitude to make your opponents never get to take the initiative, and you have an extremely powerful strategy. Thassa's Oracle. Here's a card that's uniquely powerful, and it's got to have this high but truly powerful and much cleaner version and reliable win condition from a lot of archetypes. I have lost to this card so many times, and I hate playing against it, especially in decks that play like Doomsday, where they just mill themselves out and then set up the top 3 cards of their library to include this card or a couple of other ones. like the inverter of truth, in order to win the game. Thassa's Oracle, it could see a banning in my view, and I wouldn't be too sad to see it go. But this card is definitely still contending in some of the top deck slots, especially in Legacy to this day. As a game-winning, game-ending combo piece, you know people can get it off on turn 1 with Doomsday, and unless you have interaction with it, Force of Will or Force of Negation, there's not a lot you could do. Ragavan the Nimble Pilferer. Why not? It's got to be a number 2 on the list here, and I want to know what actually ranks a little higher than Ragavan and why. So Ragavan is yet the Modern Horizons 2 creature that makes this list. It puts immediate pressure on the opponent to remove it. You get to cast stuff off your opponent's deck. It also makes treasures, so it ramps you. The dash ability is the icing on the cake, making the card good top deck late in the game, as well as a massive threat very early on. The card's already been banned in Legacy. It has been. Ragavan's banned in Legacy and has been a powerful synergy with Days and Wasteland, and is an elite threat in Modern and Vintage where it remains legal. Ragavan simply does everything you could ask for in a 1-drop. It may take another card to be printed in Modern to finally get Ragavan banned. And the only card that's coming in higher on this list than Ragavan is Lurrus of the Dream Den. Now, this effectively had to have some rules changes errated around the companion mechanic, and it's even good reason, because Lurrus is considered to be one of the best creatures of all times. Let's read the card text on it. This 3/2. What's better than a Ragavan? A Lurrus. You get a 3/2 for 3 mana. It's got lifelink on it. It's a companion. And then during each of your turns, you may cast a permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. A very cool ability that lets you recur your Mishra's Bauble, recur any of your Soul Rings, any of your actual Moxen, your Black Lotus. You can loop it again and again, being able to recast your cheap artifacts over and over. Yahoo! What's up, cool cats? Dual Brains in the house. You got any news for us, buddy? Tell us there's another brain. Tell us some good news, friend. Nice to have you here. We're looking at the top 10 most powerful creatures of all time. It's my last day without a duplicant who is reliant on me. Tomorrow is the final day. Duplicant. Okay, tomorrow's duplicant day. Congrats. So Lurrus of the Dream Den making this list as one of the most powerful Magic the Gathering creatures of all times. It requires you to have a deck that has mana values of only 2 or less. Although it does eliminate some potentially powerful cards, Magic's most useful cards are extremely efficient. That's because Lurrus had to get errated and some substantial changes to the game in order to make this card balanced and even fair. Very interesting. Ed, the Dual Brain. It's their last day without the duplicant, you say. Well, I thank you, folks, for all joining in here. It's been a pretty great day. I got that cup of coffee, just having the last final sip of it while I get ready to start my day. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards, folks? Let me do it for you. I'm doing it on the weekdays here on the morning show, speaking a little bit of stocks and some Magic the Gathering talks, trying to take some pokes and some jokes and have a little bit of funny and find out where is the money, Brody, in the game of Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of information out there. The new Lord of the Rings set coming out seems interesting, that we're going to maybe see some shakeups in some formats here. Stay tuned. What did the baby corn say to the mama corn? Where's popcorn? Oh, Ed, the Dual Brain. We're looking forward to some news from you, my friend. Wishing you all peace, love, and happiness out in the world. Wherever you are, it's Monday. It's the 29th of May. May the day be sun on your face and wind at your back. Thanks for joining me to attack that like and subscribe button here on the morning show for a little bit of Magic Stocks and Talks. Carcinogen, Coach, Mr. DJ Longhair, the Dual Brain, Mike Hatcher, all you folks who have tuned in this morning to get a little bit of Stocks and Talks. in the morning. I appreciate all you for joining. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a great day. And yeah, we'll get ready to do it again.